Hi, and welcome to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the City of Douglas Public Relations Manager, and we'll be right back after this. Hi, and welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show. We just took a little short break, and now I am happy to say that we are here today with Mayor Tony Paulk, the mighty mayor of the City of Douglas. Thank you for being here, Mayor Paulk.
Thank you for the invitation. Good to see you.
Well, ever so often we like to have an elected official or a city department head to just come on and share some of the good news that's going on within the City of Douglas. Just from 2018, can you share some accomplishments that you're really proud of?
Well, one of the biggest accomplishments that I'm really proud of is our youth in the City of Douglas. Mm-hmm. They have really just taken hold of the Mayor's Youth Council. They are going off to trips, Savannah, Atlanta, just really getting involved in the community and getting a better understanding of how government works. And we just had our first actual trial for mm-hmm. Teen Court. Teen Court is another initiative that we launched to give that juvenile that made a mistake early to have an opportunity sort of for redemption, to be judged by their peers. Right. The only individual in the court proceeding that's an adult is actually the judge. Mm-hmm. But the prosecuting attorney, the defendant attorney, the bailiff, the clerk of courts, everybody is a young adult. All trials are jury trials, so the jury is comprised mm-hmm. of individuals of their peers. They litigate the case, and then they go back and they make an opportunity to give corrective actions right. so the person can enter back into society. And the reason for that, the reason why I list that as one of the accomplishments, as the mayor of Douglas, I do believe that as an adolescent or a young adult, I was very mischievous. I won't say I was bad. No. But I would have needed some type of corrective actions or a second chance. And I think that does that.
Well, I think any adult could actually say, you know, I really believe anybody has done something a little mischievous somewhere along their lifespan, and especially with these adolescents, like you were saying, the kids that are in the youth court, they are actually it's misdemeanor offenses. It's not something major. So definitely, you want to try to give those kids a chance to work things out and correct their own self.
And that's one of the reasons for Teen Court and the Mayor's Youth Council. Mm-hmm. We need our youth to be involved in city government, to get a better understanding of city government, how it works, mm-hmm. and how it actually impacts their lives. And also, I do not want, or did not want, the first time one of our young adults were introduced to the legal system, that they were in front of a judge, where it could be something that really alters their trajectory as mm-hmm. far as being successful. Right. So it was all about trying to have a process to give a child a second chance. Right, that positivity helps mm-hmm. a lot, and sometimes some of these kids that have went a little wayward, they just need a little bit of mentoring, let me say that correctly. But I've noticed with the youth council, because I'm normally present at most of those meetings, those kids are really, you know, getting involved with the community. They are playing a major role. They have their own youth council that's sort of like a city commission meeting. Correct. And I've seen them in several places just doing different community efforts as far as cleanup. I saw them downtown a few times, and then they actually got involved in a cleanup project one time in Savannah also. So, it's giving them a little bit of things to learn on both sides of the story. Yeah, as an adult and then also as a youth volunteer. And the whole purpose of it is to put information in front of them and then put them in an environment where that information is usable.
Right.
And they get a fundamental understanding of how government works. We actually have, not only do they reflect the council, but we have a city attorney, finance, city clerk, where they mirror those positions also.
Right, and there is a public information person.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
I'm sorry
There
about
is.
that.
Hey, it's all right. And I can say that it has been a great learning experience for me also, as far as
Good.
working with the kids and just hearing how smart they are. And actually a lot of their good input too, as far as different policies that we may be thinking about with the kids, and then they say, well, wait a minute, why don't you think about it in a different way?
Exactly.
So that's actually paying off. Well, one thing that you've had during the last year, actually during 2018, is you started your Mayor's Monthly Minutes, which is sort of like an editorial where you talk to the citizens about different things that are on your mind. Tell us a little bit about it and where you're planning on going in 2019 with it.
Well, the Mayor's Monthly Minutes, the previous time I served as the mayor, I did the Mayor's Monthly Minutes. And it was actually given birth because I was interacting with some citizens in the community, and it's like, well, Mayor, we don't never know what's going on. If we don't watch it on television, how do we know what's going on? And I talked with Miss Georgia Henderson, and she said, hey, look, maybe we ought to come up with something where the mayor specifically talks to the citizens. So at one of our trainings at GMA, I was talking to one of my colleagues, and they said, hey, I just do a Mayor's Monthly Minutes. We keep a running chronological order of what has happened during the month, and then we just speak from a mayor's point of view. So, and believe it or not, a lot of citizens actually read that, and I get questions about it. Hey, well, I didn't understand this process here. Well, what about this right here, Mayor Paul? Hey, you said this right here in your Mayor's Monthly Minutes. Explain that to me. And that's some of the conversations. And that's the whole idea, which circles back to the Mayor's Youth Council and Teen Court. Putting that information in the hands of the individuals so that they can get a clear understanding of how government functions, how government works for the citizens of Douglas. And I also use it to dispel some myths about, oh, this is going on or this is going on. Well, that's not factual. What's factual are the facts, not the opinions or myths that have been out there for the last 30 or 40 years. And I think that the Mayor's Monthly Minutes have been a major part into diffusing some of those myths out there.
Right, because like you're touching on, I mean, even though you are the mayor, you still have different policies and procedures that you have to uphold, and I think we've seen a lot of that over the last year. Now, speaking as far as looking into 2019, I know, and I'm sure some of the public may know, you recently held an upper management type retreat, which was, I think y'all discuss some things that might be on your nerves or on your mind at that. And then also the management people were able to offer up some of their solutions to the issues. And then, in the process, y'all were able to talk to them. Tell us a little bit more about what you do in those retreats and actually how it facilitates along throughout the year.
Well, the retreat is something that we do annually, that we get together and we have a conversation about what do we actually want the upcoming year to look like. It's an action plan. This action plan originates with the city manager having conversations with the department heads, them setting short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals about what their department is going to look like. And then we take those departmental goals, fold them into the city's goals, because everybody has a different functionality within the city. And then we just sit there and we talk about them. We want to make sure that those goals that are before us moves the city of Douglas forward in a manner and at a pace that we want. Some of the things that we talked about, of course, was parks and recreation, because, a lot of individuals refer to me as the kids mayor. I'm always involved with the youth because I do believe that they are our future and we need to invest in them. So we talked about parks and recreation, of course. We talked about the upcoming building projects. We talked about the governing. We talked about recruiting more industries here.
Right.
Talking about shopping centers and things like that. What can we do as a municipality to be a catalyst to create an environment for this to be a successful city?
And those are some, I've seen some of the goals that have been talked about, and I think, and they're attainable goals. It's not like you set something that's just way out there that we can't, as employees, that we can't reach.
Correct. And I think that God has really and truly blessed the city of Douglas. When you look at a city our size and go just look on the map and find another city that has our population, that has this many things going on at one time. We're often compared to the city of Valdosta or the city of Tifton, larger cities that are not even comparable to the city of Douglas. But guess what? The city manager, the staff, the department heads, the elected officials, we accept that challenge.
Right.
The expectations from the citizens are high, and we do everything that we can to reach those goals, obtain those goals, and have a sustainability of success. And that starts out with that retreat as far as setting those goals.
Right. Now, one thing you just talked about just for a second, and I'm glad you didn't go into much detail, but you speak of some of the construction plans that are coming up. And throughout last year, we talked a little bit with the Mayor's Monthly Minutes. You mentioned a few of those projects along. And now we are actually finally ready to start. Tell us a little bit.
It is getting ready to be very chaotic in the city of Douglas over the next 45 to 60 days. We'll start out what I'm going to consider to be one of our jewels in the city of Douglas is the renovation of City Hall. City Hall is going to be renovated. We're also going to expand City Hall, just going to give it an upgrade all the way through. We're actually going to change the address of City Hall, whereas we're going to have the door facing Madison instead of Bryant Street. We're going to locate a number of departments there, sort of like one-stop shopping.
Right.
So that's going to just be a beautiful facility, and hopefully it's going to be a facility where citizens will come not only to get services, but to sort of hang out a little bit. I do want that to be a beacon for our community downtown. The other thing is the city pool. I'm really excited about that. The city pool is going to be demolished. We're going to start brand new. We're going to go from a 6-lane pool to an 8-lane pool. We're going to be able to hold regional competitions. And if anybody knows the Douglas Stingrays, we've been regional champs for since 2004.
And we've been state champs quite a few years.
We represent very well. So the Douglas Stingrays and the city of Douglas are going to have a state-of-the-art facility. We're also going to move out to Jardine Stadium, and we're going to add 3 more football fields. We're going to add 5 more baseball fields, hopefully to be able to attract some softball tournaments or some regional play. But my thing is, if there's a parent or parents that have a child that's 8 years old and one that's 12 that's playing, they could conceivably be in the same location instead of one child being at the middle school and the other being over here. Both of the children can actually be in the same situation. And I think that that's monumental. Along with City Hall being renovated, we're going to move all our utilities out on what we call the bypass, out to by
206 connector.
206 connector. We're going to move the electric, water, all that stuff out there. So you won't be seeing the tractors downtown or the mounds of dirt or the coal,
coal mix, I think is what it's called. It's like asphalt.
For the asphalt. So there's going to be a lot of things going on in the city of Douglas. Really excited about that. The city of Douglas is a very progressive city. And progressive city, we do progressive things. And the beauty about this, since the city of Douglas is managed so well, as far as finances, we're going to pay for all these projects and not going to have to take out one loan at all. And that was one of the reasons with having a plan in place, a construction management at-risk contract. We have $20 million for these projects. We could only spend $20 million.
That's right.
Anything over $20 million, that's on you.
Right.
You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
So that's to keep us in budget. And I think the citizens of Douglas are going to be very pleased after the construction period is over.
Right. Now, with you talking about the renovations taking place at City Hall, there will be some offices that will be kind of moved throughout town, and it might be a little inconvenient for a little while, but in the end, I think everybody's going to like it.
Oh, yes. I think everybody's going to be ecstatic about it.
Now, and we will most definitely send out a notice and try to let everyone know where you go to pay your utility bill, where you go to get a building permit, and different things like that. So we'll be advertising that soon, everybody.
Correct.
All right, and well, tell me something. I know that you're doing the mayor's monthly minutes, but tell us, is there any other plans with elected officials trying to improve communication with the public, with our citizens?
Well, we've actually had our second chat and chew. This is where we go into the community and we listen to citizens' concerns. We've had two. It's been very productive. You know, sometimes it can be a little contentious, but that's okay.
Right.
Sometimes government is not pretty.
Yeah.
But it gives the citizens an opportunity, instead of coming to City Hall to talk about their concerns or their issues, we're actually in the community talking to the citizens, getting their input, taking the notes, and then making sure that we can resolve those issues and get back to the citizens in a timely manner.
That's right.
And I think that the city of Douglas, we are doing very well with communicating with the public. As a matter of fact, we just launched Click It to Fix It. Yeah, Click It to Fix It. That's a mobile app. If you see a pothole, take a picture of it, and it goes down to City Hall to the right department. If you see a light pole that the light is not working, take a picture, let us know where it's at, and we can get it fixed.
Right.
So we are trying to not only communicate face to face, not only on television when we have our comments at the end, not only through the social media platform, Douglas on My Mind, Facebook, the City of Douglas, the website. So there's a number of ways that we're communicating with the city, and with Click It to Fix It, that brings technology into the fold.
Right. And everybody is so tech savvy nowadays. And like you were saying, one thing that people may see soon is we are redesigning the website and making it more mobile friendly, which is something that has been on some people's minds lately. But is there any other updates you'd like to provide us with?
Well, as far as the city of Douglas, the only update that I actually have is that with the city of Douglas, we are moving forward. And I'm not just saying that as a cliche. I do ask the citizens to be patient with us as we get ready to move into selecting a new police chief. We've been without a police chief for a few months. We're going to actually have a meeting tonight. Hopefully we can get that issue resolved and put the final piece of the puzzle as far as with the city. I do think that what we have to do is continue down the road that we're going and be willing to accept change. And sometimes change is
that
not
is
always
hard.
Exactly.
That is hard.
But I do think that the citizens of Douglas have been very receptive to what we've done as a legislative body. And that's appreciative. When I go out to eat or I'm out in the community, it does not fail that a citizen will come up and say, hey, look, really appreciate what you guys are doing down there. I know it's hard. Can't believe that you're down there taking that type of abuse. But I do believe one of the things I had to learn is that I think public service is a heart issue. I retired from the United States Army. That's about 15 years. I worked for the federal government. That's another 19 years. And then I'm going into my 8th year as the mayor. So I have about 43 years of public service.
Right.
And when we talk about the youth, or we talk about the elderly, or we talk about the city in general, that's a heart issue for me.
All right. And I think you've got a big heart, considering all that time you've devoted to citizens and even to just public necessity and trying to help make things better for people. I mean,
Correct.
that's what public service is all about.
Exactly. And my thing is this right here, what I would like to leave the citizens of Douglas with, you know, being retired from the military, I decided to come back home and to try to make a difference in my community. Not a community that I was in while I was in the military, but in my hometown, for the elderly relation that kept me out of trouble and gave me the opportunity to be who I am. And I just wanted to make a positive impact on their lives. And what better way to do it than to be an elected official?
Right. That's right. All right. Well, Mayor Polk, we appreciate you being here, and I'm sure before the year's over with, I'll have you back in the hot seat.
Thank you very much. I
All right.
appreciate it. And y'all have a good evening.
You too.
Oh.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, and welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm here now with Dr. Ingrid Sellers with South Georgia State College, and we are happy for you to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Blondale, for this opportunity to come talk about what we're doing at South Georgia State College.
Yes, South Georgia State College. Let's see, I graduated from South Georgia State College in 1992, and I know for a fact that y'all have had a lot of changes throughout the years. And when you go through change, I know sometimes it's hard to kind of stay on track with what your mission is. So tell us a little bit about y'all's strategic plan that just recently came out.
Well, we are so delighted to share with you that we have developed a 5-year rolling strategic plan that will chart our course for the next 5 years in history.
Oh, wow.
Some really, really fantastic things have happened at South Georgia State College. You know, prior to my becoming the president of the college. And when I came to Douglas, Georgia, one of the first questions that I got asked very frequently was, what is your vision for the college? And the answer to that question really was, I did not have a vision. And that was because I thought it would have been very presumptuous of me coming in from the city of Atlanta saying, I know what's best for South Georgia State College.
Right.
And so we ended the course of the previous plan. Some wonderful things took place as a result of that plan. And we got together as a community and we built a new plan, a new vision for the college that really focuses on where we want to be in terms of our engagement with the community. What do we want to do to help our students to succeed? How can we retain our very highly skilled and talented faculty and staff at South Georgia State College, as well as what do we want our academic offerings to be? We always want to remain relevant. We always want to make sure that we're serving our community as well. So, in a nutshell, that was our plan, and that was how we got to where we are today.
Okay. Touching on some of that strategic plan, does that also include expanding your academics anyway? Can you share with us some of your plans for that?
It absolutely does. We envision ourselves being able to add 10 new baccalaureate degree programs in 5 years at South Georgia State College. And last year was a good year for us. And I say this because the Board of Regents approved South Georgia State College to offer 3 new baccalaureate degree programs. And those include long-term healthcare management, technical and professional writing, as well as most recently elementary and special education.
Oh, and that's definitely going to help as far as retaining students, because one of the main reasons why I left, which I graduated South Georgia State College, and I went to Valdosta State because I had to go there to finish my career. And so that was one of the main reasons. So that's wonderful news to hear that y'all have expanded in the education field.
It is great. It will be a wonderful program. We are going to be creating our own. When we really think about the fact that our students in the elementary/special ed program is going to be immersed in our school systems, being student teachers from the very first year they enter the program. That gives us an opportunity for our students to know what it's like teaching our kids here in our community, as well as giving our professionals within the community an opportunity to mentor, to train, and to teach. And we know that Coffee County school system is one of the best in the country.
That's right.
So we're going to be training our students with some fantastic teachers in our system.
Okay. Well, what kind of trends or what do y'all actually see at your students now, or see among them? What are they looking for whenever it comes to a college?
Interestingly enough, we are very fortunate at South Georgia State College to have many times 3 different generations of students in the classroom. And I say this because we cater to our non-traditional students who want to come back and retool and pursue another career option. We have the traditional age students in our classrooms as well who, interestingly, they're very much engaged in the life of the college. They want to be involved. Typically, the extracurricular programming that we offer at the college, or residential students would mostly partake of these and become involved in clubs, etc. But we're seeing our commuter student population showing an interest. We also have those students in the middle who might not have completed their college degree, and they're coming back because it's either a requirement for them to be promoted on the job, or they say, I'm at a point in time in my life where I can finish something that I started.
Right.
So we have an eclectic mix of students at South Georgia State College, which makes it a very interesting environment, I think. But in terms of needs, we're seeing students with a lot more needs. And it goes beyond financial needs, because our students now are assuming roles in the homes that traditionally they would not have.
Right.
Sometimes students would perhaps go seek additional jobs to put themselves through college. Now they're seeking additional jobs because they might be the head of the household.
That's right.
They might be taking care of extended families. They might be assuming the role of a parent or the parents in the homes. And so we're seeing our students that have significant socioeconomic needs, not just economics.
Right. Wow. And just thinking about it, I actually haven't continued with my education because, once you get in that workforce and you're raising children and everything else, it just kind of gets put to the side because you just don't have time. But now that y'all are offering so many different programs at the bachelor degree, somebody like me could go back and maybe work on something else. I'm not in the education field anymore, so I could always go back and maybe do business management. I occasionally pick at my son and tell him, because that's what he's going for. I'm like, what would you feel like if your mama was in your class? And he is not happy about that.
He'd get over it.
Yeah, he would.
I'd like to share a story about a student at South Georgia State College, Hannah, whom I spent about a couple of hours with. We celebrated our top students from each institution in Atlanta last Tuesday at our Board of Regents meeting. And I was so proud of Hannah because she said, I was a dual enrollment student at South Georgia State College. And my ambition was to complete my high school career and an associate's degree, and I was on my way out of South Georgia.
Right.
And she said something happened. I fell in love with the campus of South Georgia State College, and my fiance as well. But I decided that I wanted to stay at South Georgia State College. She will be graduating from our bachelor's degree in management next spring in 2020.
Wow.
Because she said, I really value and love what you all do at South Georgia State College.
That's good. That's
and
awesome.
that's one of our good stories.
Yes, and that's what we want. We want, I've heard several officials, and we had the mayor, before you, say that they want our community to be the type of community that their kids come back to. They don't want them to move off and stay gone. Well, actually, you were invested as the 8th president for South
Correct.
Georgia State College. So you went from interim to, full-time permanent. We're not letting you go anywhere. Tell me a little bit about that and some of the things that you've experienced since you've become president.
It's been an amazing journey for me. I really could not ask for a better job. This is my dream come true, I would say, as far as being here in South Georgia. The community has been very supportive, very welcoming, and it really has made my job really, really good. I also have to say it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Being a college president is a whole lot of work. It's like going on a treadmill, starting off at a certain speed, and you keep going at that speed and never coming off.
Yes.
But the good thing about that is that you can see successes along the way. You see a light at the end of the tunnel.
You stop and smell the roses.
Yes, and you have some great people at the college and
Right.
in this community that you're working with. So that in itself has made it such a fabulous experience for me here.
Yeah. Well, throughout this interview, we've heard a lot about what South Georgia College is doing for our community and for us. So, in return, what can our community do for South Georgia State College?
Well, I would like to put a plug in for all South Georgia State College alum, whether or not you are a tiger, if you're a swamp fox, or if you are a hawk, come home. We have a lot of good things going on at the college that we'd love to partner with you on. There are opportunities for you to speak to our students. There are opportunities for you to partner with us in us having internships for our students. There's just a whole lot of good things going on at the college, and we'd like to share the wealth with you.
All right. Well, Dr. Sellers, I appreciate you being here today, and we will definitely need to get you back for another update sometime soon. And we look forward to seeing some great things come out of South Georgia State College.
Thank you, Ms. Blondell. It's been my pleasure to be here.
Okay. We'll be right back after this. Hi, and welcome back. And I'm delighted to say that I'm here now with Miss Kim Clayton, Director of Personnel at Coffee County School System. We're happy to have you here, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here and to see you again. I always love to come here.
Well, as usual, it's that time of the year whenever we start talking about looking for teachers and teacher retention and things like that. So tell me, one of the most important things that is part of your job is actually, retaining and hiring those teachers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. Having 13 schools, making sure that everyone is staffed 100% every day. And it seems like after the Christmas holidays, when we come back, we immediately start talking about the next school year.
Right.
And preparing how many staff we're going to need at each school. And that's kind of a puzzle because we look at enrollment numbers. That's a big factor in it, and how many teachers we're going to need and support staff there. And that's what we're doing right now is working on that to see what we need. We also consider who's going to retire this year.
Right.
And we do have several, and I'm very happy for them and sad for us that we'll need to replace them. But yes, this is the time of year we're getting ready for next school year.
All right. Well, coming up pretty soon, you can go ahead and let us know what day is the teacher job fair going to be on.
This year it is Saturday, March 16th. It's a little bit earlier than last year. It's from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. in the auditorium of Coffee Middle School.
Okay.
And the way this works, all of our schools are set up there and represented individually. Of course, the principals, assistant principals, and sometimes with the secondary schools, they have some of their assistants and content teachers there to help. And we invite all of the individuals that are interested in obtaining a job for next year. If you have a valid or expired teaching certificate, or you're interested in alternative certification. And that would be someone who has a 4-year degree in a content. And we talk with you about ways to become certified. But I'll tell you, and you and I were talking about this earlier, South Georgia State College has been a wonderful asset for us in our science area. With their 4-year degree in biology, we have been able to hire those students. They pass the assessment tests, and then I work with them in getting their certification.
That's awesome.
And I know Dr. Sellers was here earlier talking about their early childhood special education program.
They were.
That we are so excited about, because special education is one of those critical areas.
Right.
So those student teachers will be working in our schools, and that's just a win-win for all of us.
Definitely. So with there being, it sounds like there is a teacher shortage. With that being so, that's kind of how you make up for it. You can, like a biology major may not have education background, but they could go into teaching.
They could. They could. And alternative certification has been around for several years, but we always wanted to find that certified teacher. And as you mentioned, yes, there is a shortage. Sadly, folks aren't going into education like they used to. So we look at alternative routes to hiring them, but there are some tests that they have to pass, of course, and meet certain credentials for us to acquire the provisional certificate for them. But we do that more middle school, high school, elementary level. There's still early childhood applicants out there. But I guess if I could say anything, I encourage young people to think about being a teacher.
Right.
It is a wonderful profession. The benefits that we have working in the school system are excellent. The retirement program that we have, where I know a lot of folks in the private sector can't even offer retirement anymore. And
That's right.
We have a wonderful program, and of course health insurance, vision, dental, things like that. But just being a teacher and working with children and young people, it's a lot of fun.
It is. It is.
The
The best asset is that difference that you make in a child's life whenever
Exactly.
you are teaching.
And I was going to say, when we hire folks through alternative certification, I've hired several folks from this community that, as far as retention, I know they're going to stay. They're from Coffee County, and they were in the private sector, and they wanted to be a teacher, and they'll tell me how much they enjoy it, and their quality of life has improved. They don't have the stress they used to have, and just as you said, they make a difference. They can see this click in the classroom and the connection they make with the students.
Yes. Well, with you saying that, how many teachers did you actually have to hire last year, or how many do you
This
think?
past year we hired 62
Oh,
teachers.
wow.
And it's usually anywhere between 60 and 80, but the past couple of years the average has been 65. We do have a good retention rate, and we work very hard at that with the induction process, with the folks that come in and supporting them with a mentor and meeting with them periodically through the first year and sometimes into the second, to make sure that they feel comfortable in what they're doing and not to be afraid to ask for help.
Right.
But, you know, when we hire folks from out of town, which we do sometimes, I'm also very cognizant of this is their new home.
Right.
And I want them to feel comfortable here. And you've helped me quite a bit through the city and helping folks feel comfortable. The chamber has helped me, because it's not just about teaching in the schools. This is their new home, and we want them to stay, and we want
community.
them to get involved. Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
And we get so much support that way, and we appreciate that.
Yes. Now, if someone wants to apply for a teaching position, what should they do?
You can go to our website, which is coffee.k12.ga.us, and look for the word employment, and it takes you right to our site. And I will say, if you're interested in a position, whether it's early childhood or math or science or language arts, what field you're interested in. If we don't have something posted at that time, you still can apply and select the areas you're interested in.
Okay.
Because your application goes into a pool based on certification. So when our principals are looking at applications, yes, they're looking at the folks that happened to apply when there was a vacancy, but they also look in the pool and see who else is in there. So now is the time, if you're interested, to go ahead and apply. And I will say, too, if you're interested in alternative certification, I welcome your phone calls. I meet with folks all the time and talk about how to do it, and it's not as hard as it seems. I have a little cheat sheet that I give everybody with steps on it. I'm very visual, and we just take it from there, and that's how we found a lot of great teachers.
Okay. Well, and as you were saying, we do have quite a few numbers of teachers that stay in the Coffee County school system and retire, so that's why, maybe half of that 60 are actually replacing teachers who have retired. So it's not that they don't want to stay.
Right.
Right. Okay. Well, in addition to the teaching positions, I know oftentimes people may not realize it, but your janitorial staff, your lunchroom staff, those positions you also apply through the Board of Education.
You do. The paraprofessionals, we're always hiring paraprofessionals, which are like teachers' aides, but they hold certification as well. Secretarial positions, maintenance, transportation, bus drivers. We always need bus drivers, and that's a wonderful job too, and they get wonderful benefits just like the teachers do. Yes, there's a variety of positions, not just teaching positions.
So if they go to that website and click on the tab, it'll list all of that.
They'll see areas of positions within the school system. There might, like I said, there might not be a vacancy right now, but if you're interested, go ahead and put your application in. It stays in our portal for a year.
Okay, that was my next question, was how long does that pool stay there? So a year.
You still get
Wonderful.
a message closer to the year reminding you, do you want to keep it active? So you have a second choice or second time to say yes.
Okay, well that is fantastic. So again, tell us when the teacher job fair is.
The job fair is Saturday, March 16th, starting at 9 a.m. and we finish at 1, and it's a drop-in. You don't have to come at 9 o'clock, but between 9 and 1 you drop in, and we direct you to the schools, and not just those that vacancies. Some might come to the job fair and right now they don't have anything. They will.
Right.
They will. It's just how it goes.
Right.
And
over the summer, somebody may have to move, and different things.
Having so much business and industry here, which is a plus. Spouses are transferred, so that's another reason that we lose some teachers sometimes, that their spouse has to go, and we understand that. So I encourage you to come, or if you're interested in teaching, please give me a call, because I would be happy to talk with you about it.
Okay. Will you just give us that phone number to contact you?
It's 389-6504.
Okay.
And that rings right at my desk.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us a little bit, and I hope that those teachers get their, resumes and everything together. And even if you're not a teacher and you think you might want to go into the teaching field, they can, stop by and probably get more information, and it may help someone decide whether or not they want to do that.
Exactly. And if you don't have time before the 16th, to call me about how to be a teacher, come to the job fair, because I have an area set up, and I stop and take time, and I had quite a few last year that came and talked with me about what they needed to do to be a teacher. So either way, either call me, come in, or come to the job fair. Yep. I'll be glad to help.
We need you.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, thank you again, Kim, for stopping by, and we're looking forward to some great new teachers next year.
We are too. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this. All right, and that's going to be a wrap for this episode of the Douglas on My Mind show. We hope you can continue to join us next month.